Hello, and welcome to the Business First Creatives podcast. Today's episode is going to be a little different. I am chatting with my friend, Christina Torres, and we are going to be covering subjects all about brand messaging, copy, websites, and CRMs. You are going to hear part one of this conversation here on the Business First Creatives podcast, while part two is going to be over on Christina's podcast, Best Regards. Good morning, Christina. Why don't you tell everyone who you are and what you do?
Sure. Good morning. And thank you for saying my name like that. I haven't had someone say my name like that since high school. And so funny, she was a nun, but she taught English, I guess English at the college level. So if that's any indication that I was like, okay, fine. I'm going to do my work and I'm going to go to sleep. But she always said my name, Sister Joan, Christina Torres.
Torres.
And she was definitely Irish Catholic. So I was like, that's right. You say my name. As mean as she was, it made me closer to her. So full circle, I am a copywriter. And most importantly, a sales page and legacy copywriter. What does that mean? Websites, right? The stuff that, and I say legacy because I want people to realize it's not something you stick up there and you forget about it. I just threw it up there. No, this is a place that's going to be there and is going to go through as many iterations and changes as you are. Copywriter for copywriters, consultants, and coaches, because they're the folks who need it the most and are drowning the most. And that's usually the last thing that they think about delegating for some reason. And I have an inkling why. And it's probably mostly my fault because I wrote a lot of copy that said, you don't need that. But anyway, that's what I do. And I've been doing it for on and off for about 4 years. So we're trying to get them into that mindset through copywriting, through messaging, and like you said, a little bit, and get them to the unsexier part, which is, I think your part is very sexy, actually.
See, Christina, I was going to interrupt you because I'm like, no, my part is totally sexy. Systems are sexy.
I love it. I love that part. I just wish my brain can execute it. That's another story. But I understand why it's so needed and why it's so needed. So we're trying to get them. That's my mission, is to get people to hiring and investing more in themselves and seeing hiring copywriters, seeing people like you as a form of self-care and self-preservation and growth, and not as oh, no, I can just do it myself.
Yes. Well, so for those that don't know me, I'm Colie James. I am a systems queen. I love Dubsado, but I do everything in systems. And I am like the back half of what Christina does. So Christina helps you with your messaging and what I call the front end of your business. That's what people see before they actually inquire with you. Your social media, your website, everywhere that your messaging is, she can help you with that. And once you get the inquiry on the back end, that's where I come in to make sure that the client experience is seamless and amazing. So the way that this conversation is going to work is Christina and I are going to talk to you a little bit about messaging, because messaging is what is not, it's not static. Like if you write messaging and you think that your messaging is going to last you 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, that's just not a thing. Neither one of us are set it and forget it kind of people. So, Christina, what is the one thing that you feel like everybody misses the mark on when it comes to writing their messaging, whether it's on a website or social media, or just the way that they talk to people about the service that they offer? Like, what's the thing that's missing the mark?
Few things. I'll start with 3.
Okay.
I think first is, to your point, there's a lot of we'll be technical about it. There's a lot of data that we're using that's already old, right? So that messaging and those problems may not be what's the problem this quarter or the problem this week or the problem this month. And we have to really kind of key in to what are these desires, these problems that the audience that we know is going to buy right now. We just need to be on the lookout for them. We can't be on the lookout for them every year when we do a retrospective or every, I don't know, whatever we ask for feedback. That's not when we should wait for it. We should actually do a little bit more hunting in real time, in real life, on people's posts, on I actually find one of the greatest places to look for messaging is where I call the haters. So like I work with people. That means you're pretty big. When you've got like haters like spending their time in YouTube and you're like, "Ooh, what are these haters saying?" Yeah, this is what's on top of mine, right? Cuz good news is not the quickest out. It's usually like the bad news. So I love to like we want to look for stuff that's happening in real time and we want to get it into our front end as soonish as possible, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's how we have to look at it. Two, where is this messaging going? Because it is a little different. If someone, it really matters where you meet these people in their journey, but also like where you actually meet them. Mm-hmm. And so like on a first date, you wouldn't be like, "Hey, take your shirt off." like, and you're like, "I just want to see what you're working with." And you're like, that's kind of rude. You should like want to learn a little bit more about me and you maybe do a little bit more storytelling. And so like, you have to like realize what part of where people are meeting you is what part of the date that you're on, what part of the relationship really. And I know that's hard. Like when you're thinking about online, cause you're like, well, it's not one person. I'm having a relationship with like everyone. No, it is one person. There is an ideal, right? That's why it's called like your marketing. There's a target, and unfortunately, that target's always moving.
It is,
but
always
if we can
moving.
if we can get it as close to the middle as possible, I think that happens more when we're thinking about in real time. And I would say the last thing is this is kind of tricky. That copy is not just nice words. It's not just things that sound good together. I remember when I first came in the door and I couldn't tell why the word wordsmith cringed. Like, what is that? It used to be everywhere. Word ninja, wordsmith. And I'm like, but what are you? And I think it's a little bit of a misnomer writing because copywriters are more like messaging architects. I'm not creating words out of the blue. I'm not just putting a bunch of words that I think sound really nice or really impressive. They're actually words that are already being said over and over and over and over again that obviously are really resonating and really like hitting someone in the feels. And what I'm supposed to do is not sell your product. That's not my job. Your job is to sell. My job is to connect what people desire and what they want to, like their final destination, and how your product is the vehicle to get them there. That's all I'm really there to do. Like you have to sell, you have to come up with the offer. I do sometimes do a little bit of like, let me tell you devil's advocate, and I'm going to hit you with this objection. What are you going to do? And sometimes that doesn't mean adding something to the offer or taking something out the offer, like kind of in mid process. They're like, oh yeah. I'm like, I don't think anyone's going to give a F about this. And I think they're not, I don't know. Let's just think about, or add this again to the customer experience. I think people would really like this part. And if you're kind of doing it, but you're not showcasing it, I want us to lean on that. So it's more about, it's not about nice words. It's actually about really boring words that you might think are boring. I do put some humor in my copy, some personality in my copy, but the idea is not to impress, I guess is what I'm trying to say. The idea is to meet people exactly where they are. And they're like, oh, this is literally what I said the other day. Like literally, this is what I said the other day. And it's probably because you did. And I found it.
I mean, so let's talk. You've mentioned two things that are really important to hit on, I think. First, you said you are just saying the words that people are saying over and over again. And so I do think that if someone tells you the same thing over and over again in a different avenue, that is something that you should pay attention to. So while you are doing that, I think it's equally as important to pay attention to the people that hire you, what they say, and the people who don't hire you. Because if the people who don't hire you are saying the same thing over and over again, it could be that they're not a fit for your product, your service, whatever it is that you do. But it could also be that you are just not explaining how you would help their particular problem well enough for them to put two and two together. So that's the first thing that I want to just kind of highlight is, yes, if you hear someone in your audience, whether they are a client or they are not a client, if you hear the same messaging over and over again, that is something that you should be addressing inside of your copy and inside of your messaging, because they are telling you how they are perceiving your messaging and your offer. And if it's not what you perceived, if it's not what you thought you were saying, you probably need to
Yeah.
give it a little tweak. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. And that's where I love me a good FAQ section. And I love an FAQ section that empowers someone to like make a decision, either buy the thing or don't buy the thing. Right. But like in a more, sometimes I see FAQ sections and I'm just like, but why are you being such a D about it? Like, you don't just answer the question. We know what the question is. Answer in a way that is loving. And I love a good, so I write FAQs to convert.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I want to hit on those things. Right. And that's when a lot of that stuff I do with my clients, because I know why I may not buy something from you. And I'm usually writing your copy because I really want what you have anyway. I find it a lot easier to write copy for things I want than for things I don't. So I'm like, what would stop me? And so I'd be like, let me stop you right here. Let's say, like, I don't want to do this way, or I have something like this, or I've never been able to finish a course, or I've never like, what? I'm like, tell me your honest answer and be
Mm-hmm.
as sassy and as effed up as you want to be. And
Oh,
don't worry, I will turn it around. I'll put a
oh,
little
see,
sugar.
no, I wouldn't
I'll
want you
put
to
a
turn
little
it
sugar in
around.
it.
You should read some of my FAQs. One of my FAQs, and it's actually my favorite. And I had someone say, did someone actually ask you that? I put, you're probably wondering if this course is worth the price tag. It totally is. And then I have a whole answer as to why I am totally worth what I am charging.
Right.
And I have a client testimonial that ties it in. That's like, I've bought a lot of things that were worthless in the photography industry, but Colie's course is 100% worth it, blah, blah, blah.
It's
But
awesome.
when I
Yeah.
first put that out there, I had a copywriter that was like, yeah, no, this is a little too much. Like, did someone no one would ask you this. And I'm like, no, the point is that they wouldn't ask me, but they're thinking it. And I feel like
Right.
my FAQs should address your internal thoughts, like those
Yeah.
questions that are in the back of your
100%.
mind that are actually preventing you from buying what I'm offering because you
Yes.
are too scared to open your mouth. And I think that personally all the time. I find that if I'm looking at like this high ticket problem, or not this high ticket problem, I find that if I'm looking at this high ticket offer and I'm like, okay, but this seems like it's for beginners and I'm not a beginner. So is it really worth the $6,000 price tag when I'm not going to get as much out of it as someone who's brand new, doesn't already have an offer that's selling, like all that good jazz. And so I know myself, if these are questions that I have when I'm the shopper, people who are looking at my $1,000 course or my $5,000 VIP day offer, they're probably wondering, okay, this sounds really great, but like, is it actually worth $5,000? Like, what am I going to get on the other side of this offer? And so I just feel like putting it out there and saying, yes, I'm worth it. And if you have any questions, click below and schedule a call and we can chat about it. I mean,
right. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. And some people want that. Some people like, no, get as up in there as humanly possible. And I'm like, sure. And then some people are like, I know this is what they're thinking and they do need tough love, but can you like, I don't know.
Can
It
you make it
depends on their
sound nicer?
personality. People like, not nicer, but like, can we sandwich it? Can we sandwich it? Like, all right, like, let's bring you back to reality here. You've done these things, they haven't worked. And we need to look at like what the commitment is. And here are the things that we have in place to turn that around. I think by the time someone gets to their FAQs, another thing, and this is totally not social, this is definitely sales pages and websites are a little different from social, and that in one page we could be talking to different points of their sales page, we can be talking to different people.
Absolutely.
The same vibe of person, but they're a different type of decision maker. Some people all I need is a headline. You tell me what I'm getting. Like, I'm a person who buys in the first like the first quarter of your page. I'm an impulsive buyer. I know whether I want something or I don't. Where I may get a little tricky is that when I'm like, okay, but like, what's in it? So I know, because I write sales pages, people want to know what the results are. And so that I can do what? Or can I do this without this? Or is this gonna, like, if there's even one part of that thing that person finds value, like this is worth it. And that happens for me. I'm like, I just want it for this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to talk to nobody in your Facebook group. I don't want I don't want any parts of that. What I want is this and you. We're done. We don't have to. So, right? Like, I think that's, by the time you get to the FAQs, you're right. It's one of these things that are like nagging at them, but they don't quite know what it is. Right? And so you're trying to be like, I know what you're thinking, this
Mm-hmm.
and that and this. And you're kind of reiterating, and you don't want to answer stupid questions, like logistic questions. That's not what FAQs are for. And I used to work with so many yogis and a lot of product people. So like brick and mortar and product people, and always something like a logistics about like returns. I'm like, okay, fine, one or two, but everything else is about getting people to just try this thing. I don't really care. They can contact your services, or you need to have just a return policy section. The FAQs is not for the FAQs is not for this part. So yeah, to your point, I think getting really real with people and not being scared to like really write it all out. And if you don't have, I don't recommend this for everyone, but I do like, hey, if you still got questions, put it in here. Let me know.
Mm-hmm.
Because there may be something I'm missing. And
I
maybe like
added
the
a video
privacy
ask.
of throwing a little, right, of throwing like
Mm-hmm.
a little, all right, no one's going to see this, just them. I want to know this question. So, and by that point, if you made it all that way down and you weren't going to buy right now anyway, so you might as well just tell me what you were going to say. So I think those little things and understanding that you're talking just in a sales page, how many people you're talking to already. So it's really more of an architect, because if I put the messaging in the wrong order,
Mm-hmm.
then someone might not buy. And it may be the right words. I'm saying the right words. I'm hitting all these objections. I'm
Yes.
making it very clear what the value is. Um, you know, the about me, like who would not love this person? Like everything about it's right, but it's maybe not in the right order. Or this
Yeah.
headline should be the tagline, and this tagline should be the subheader. So there's a lot of like,
Massaging.
yeah, there's a lot of massaging and moving things around. It's like designing a room. Like you
Yeah.
can have all
Well,
the same things in the room, and you're like, but like you move things around, and you're like, how is that the same place?
I mean, I'm a little guilty of that. I had someone do some customer research for me, and she was like, you were already addressing everyone's number one pain point, but it was 3/4 of the way down your sales page. So we just took, that canvas and moved it up to, I think it went all the way up to like canvas number 2, which is like, right below above the fold or whatever it is that you website people say. And that just ended up being a great thing. Like, I didn't know that for the people that only read like a little bit down the sales page, that I just needed to address this one thing earlier so that they knew that this one pain point that all of my CRM systems people seem to be experiencing, and then I could get them to continue to work their way down the sales page, with the testimonials and the features and the results and all that stuff. But I do want to go
Yeah.
back, Christina, because there's one thing that you said that was really interesting. And I feel like you and I are hitting like the same thing, or we're saying the same thing over and over again. And that is that your messaging it's like a moving target. It is something that is going to need to change depending on what is happening like outside of your service, what's happening in the real world. And one thing that you said was really interesting though. You said that, it's not a set or forget it. And the moment that you see the messaging changing, you need to make updates. And the thing is, I used to update my website as a photographer like every single month. Every time I got new images that I was more in love with, every time one of my clients gave me a really juicy testimonial, or they said something about my service that I hadn't thought about before, like once a month, I was legitimately going on my website and making tweaks. And I did that for years. I don't do that anymore. But I do think that people are way more likely to adjust their messaging in social media because it's just easier. Like, it's easier to run on Instagram and post this one thing and call it a day versus going into your website, which most people, they dread it a lot, and going in and making changes because they think that it's
Yeah.
more complicated than it has to be. So when you talk about adjusting your headlines, well, actually you didn't say headlines, I'm putting words in your mouth. when you talk about adjusting your messaging on
Right.
your websites, what is it that you think people should be adjusting, like on a monthly, on a quarterly basis?
Yeah. So that's a good point. So I think on a monthly basis, and this is what I try to like tell people, I'm like, granted, you're not the Gap, right? You're not Gap, and you're not I don't know, Target. You can't change. You don't have a team of designers and developers who can change your website every 12 hours. They change their website like almost every 12 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I had an ex-boyfriend who used to work for Uniqlo, and that's literally all he did was change the messaging for them and like even the design. So imagine copy and design
That's a full-time
on a
job.
12-hour basis. Someone is changing that every 12 hours. Because they get a lot of customer feedback and they have a lot of things happening all at once. They have the money for that. But at least on a monthly basis, and I think this is really helpful to just check in. Definitely at least check in that stuff is working.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes you're like, the copy and the photos. And you look and like a button doesn't work. And you're like, right? And I say this, and I think this is what happens. I'm not asking you, and this is the extremes of human beings. They're like, you want me to log into WordPress. You want me to, no. I want you to get used to, instead of people saying like, where can I find you? Instead of saying your Instagram, I'm gonna need you to start saying your website.
Yeah.
Because if you're giving out your website more often, you're visiting your website more often, and every now and then you're gonna be like, I don't like the way this sits on mobile. I don't like the way this this ain't it. This isn't it for me. So I think without getting too much in the weeds, especially for there's a basic, I guess, structure for a website, and there's a basic structure for the sales pages. I think places you have to really pay attention to, like you said, the top fold,
Mm-hmm.
the above the fold, that part that people come to most often, right? So if you launch every quarter, or you find you launch every 6 days, then there should be something fresh up there. Like your lead magnet has to be updated, like, whatever that messaging is that you need to put up there. To your point, we call it like the moment of highest tension.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the things that are happening in people's life. Those are the things that people are watching. That changes. Netflix shows change. Like those places where people have to identify themselves, those are the places you probably have to change the most. Desires are not going to change. People wanting to get rich, people wanting to be loved, those things are gonna stay the same forever. People not wanting to die alone, those things are gonna stay pretty static, right? So, for me, like even when I write sales pages, like sometimes I'll just have like a bunch of headlines just drop out of my head, and I'm like, I'm gonna give you a Google Doc with all these headlines,
Mm-hmm.
and you should just change them up. And you have this
Yes.
sticker up here, and I want you to know that is your goal. Whatever you want to really plug, let's keep that changed up there. And then your podcast stuff, of course, right? Your content corner. Mm-hmm. I love a good, simple one-page website. I do. But there comes a time, especially like you and me and everyone who's making either long-form content. I'm not an SEO person, but at least have a little content corner where you can throw like Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify are not the only people who should have your content. Like, why do they have? You own your content. That's your
Mm-hmm.
IP. You should put it on your website. I don't care if you have a sales page and there's another landing page with all your stuff.
I mean, but wait, let's talk about that, Christina, because you know what cracks me up? When I Google people and their website is not the first thing that pops up. Like if I was to Google you and your Instagram popped up first, we got a problem. Like that means that you don't have enough stuff on your website to even rank for your name, like your company. Like, are you kidding me? And so, I mean, that is something that we can tell all of our listeners right now. Like go Google yourself in an incognito window. Make sure that your website is what comes up for you first, not some podcast episode where you were a guest, not your Instagram account, not your YouTube account. It should be your website. And if your website is not first, it's probably an SEO issue, but in the bare minimum, that should give you the motivation to go make some changes on your website. It probably needs a little loving. It's probably missed you. I don't know how long it's been since you visited, but you should probably go and snuggle. Give it a little cuddle. Give it a
You
little
should go
update.
and snuggle it. Yeah, and I was just say that like things that like moment of high attention, places where people have to identify themselves, right? Because identities, not that they don't change so much, but what we may attach to that identity, right? So I know everybody's an introvert. Everybody is making fun of the that very organic beach hat coach look that once was very in, and now everyone is making fun of that.
I have one of those
Right?
photos. drinking a Mexican Coke on a beach, girl. I got one. I mean, yeah, we've all
Why
got it.
not? So anyway, things like that. Identifiers we need to change a lot. The top of the fold, as you're getting feedback and as you're like, ooh, right? And that's why that's kind of why I do my sales pages the way I do. I want you to be able to update it without me
Mm-hmm.
in these places. Like, I know these are the places we're going to have to update more often. Like, we're going to have to refresh these FAQs, right? And I don't want no more than 10. We don't need 30 FAQs. Hit the ones that people really are really asking. You're like,
I
oh,
have
this was
nine, so I got
unimportant.
your check of approval.
Yeah,
Good.
I think more
Continue.
than 10 is just really intense. And then it becomes its own sales page. And you're like, all right, just use the FAQ as a sales page. Anything new that's happened in your life. There's some things about you. So like, if you're no longer calling yourself a copywriter, if you're no longer calling yourself a creative director, like what do you identify? Like what's your spiel now? You may want to update that so people are not coming to you for those things. Like, I find it so funny when people are like, why do people keep, I've pivoted. I'm like, well, what does your messaging say? Oh no, it still says, okay, so whose fault is that? That's not their fault. You told them that's what you're doing out here. What, you did a story once and a live once telling everybody about your thing? And I don't know about you, but my Instagram engagement is whack right now. I just do Instagram because I love Instagram, but it does help, but I don't even know what's going on with the algorithm right now.
But that is the reason that we should be focusing on our website, because our
Yeah.
website has nothing to do with Zuckerberg's algorithm. So that is why you put all of your emphasis onto your website. But girl, okay, so I want to try to, because we've talked about a lot of things, and I want to really hone in on like our takeaways from messaging so that when we talk about these other things, we're good. So let's say that I'm a brand new user, because these are like the people that usually are like, but I don't know how to do this, Colie. So let's say that you're a user and you've just created your products and your offers. You know what your offer suite is. You've got an idea on your pricing, because you and I could talk about that till the sun comes home, but that's another episode. So they've
Right.
decided on some like introductory pricing. How is it that they should actually hone in on their messaging when they haven't actually had that many clients yet? Like, how do you get started in figuring out what you want to say and who you want to say it to when no one has paid you real American dollars yet? Like, how do we get started in getting some really juicy messaging that makes those people want to work with you?
I would say the first place to start is don't write in a vacuum. Like I said, 90% of copywriting is just restructuring words that have already been said. So hopefully you've done some market research. You have some comparable, whether it's people who are doing exactly what you're doing, and then figure out what it is that you're doing differently.
Mm-hmm.
And you may have to lean on your personality, which brings me to my next point. Have someone hop on a Zoom, like this situation. This is not Zoom, but you know what I mean. And have them ask you those questions. Not prepared. I don't wanna. You're not gonna read it off a thing, because I find what helps me write the
Mm-hmm.
most is asking people, why did you create this? Who is it for? What does it help them do? Oh my God, tell me more about that. And the more someone like asks you and they're like, oh, okay. So they start and you start getting, without really, at first you're gonna feel a little stilted. And then you'll feel yourself, and this is how you know, either get so excited
Mm-hmm.
about something, a point, or so angry about something.
That's when you pay
It's
attention.
usually
Mm-hmm.
angry. I was pissed off because I bought all these things. And usually, for the most part, when you first start, I know for me, I became a copywriter who mostly worked with Black, Indigenous, people of color, especially women owned brands, because
Mm-hmm.
I was tired of seeing large companies co-opt our cultures and our languages to sell stuff to us.
Yeah.
And then I go look at your website and you sound like a robot. But I had a conversation with you and we were cackling and keying and slanging and Spanglishing it up. And I'm like, that's the person I would buy from. Especially if you're a lawyer or you do something, especially when you do things really boring. And then I meet these people and they're not boring. And I'm like, that's the person. You work in a really
and you're like, where's that? Why did I not meet that person on your website? Because I will say, the one thing that I will say about my website is no one has ever in life told me that I am not what I seem on my website. Like, I show up at photography clients' homes and they're like, wow, you are just like you were on your website. Yeah, I'm a loud Black woman. I need to make sure that you know that's who's showing up in your house. Like, when I tell you that I'm going to jump in bed with you to take your pictures, I literally mean I'm going to be standing over you with your morning breath, taking photos of you. Like, I want us to, like, you have to be able to know something about me so that when I hop in your bed and you still have your pajamas on and you are kissing your wife and hugging your children and you're like, okay, this is not so awkward because Colie has on pajamas too. Like, I try to do that. But the first step to getting people to know what to expect from you is what they find on your social media and on your website. So those things have to align. They have to meet the person that is going to show up. Don't sound like a robot on your website and show up as yourself in their house, because that is weird. And I mean, I know not everybody does something as intimate as showing up to someone's house with a camera. But like, if I hired Christina to write copy with me and she seemed really like quiet and demure, well, I mean, let's be real. I wouldn't hire Christina if she seemed like that, because y'all have seen my personality. But if I did, and then we hopped on our first like brand strategy, messaging, customer research call, and she was like loud and nothing like I'd seen on her website, I might have a problem connecting with her when we're actually doing the work that I've paid her for. So be yourself. Right. Be yourself.
Basically, be yourself. And notice how you talk about things. Notice, are you really like are you concise? Are you really to the point? Can you say a lot with a little bit of words? That's really helpful in copy. Or are you not? Or are you someone like me? I talk in asides. So I'm talking to you about something and then I have an aside. Literally, I feel like you talk to me and you can see the parentheses happening. That's all over my copy. I'm talking one way and then all of a sudden I'm like, sidebar. And then I want people to understand that Christina's a little all over the place, but she's rooting for me so hard. And I want people to know that on the website. Like, you're worth the money you're going to spend on me, because you're going to be, number one, you're just going to be so enthralled that you're not writing this copy. You're going to be like, I will never do this again. But number two, you will feel really warm and happy. You don't feel stupid about it. And I want people to feel like, no, I think everyone who comes to me, maybe I'm just like, low key, it's the mom in me that I'm like, you're doing so good, baby. You're doing so good. This is great. I love this. And so they're feeling that vibe. And that's why copywriting, I know copywriting is very serious and it's very black and white, or it's very neutral. No, my copy, I want colorful copy. Everyone's wearing these neutral colors. Everything looks like the New York Times or the New York Magazine. I'm definitely Cosmo Magazine. I'm 36. I'm a 22-year-old in a 36-year-old body. Like, I'm still trying to rock these fashions. I call people bruh. I want people to feel really excited about handing something over to me. And if personality is what you have to lean on, that's what I did. I mean, copywriters were introverted and wanted to stay in their copy cave and blah, blah, blah. And then I came on the scene and I've got this big loud cackle and I like going live. And I'm like, I want
and your
really
website's
bright
very
Barbie
colorful.
website. I want a bright Barbie website, and I want little cocktails everywhere. And I want it to feel like a good time. Like, business can be fun. And this is the part where we can both like collaborate and feel like geniuses and be like, yes, oh, how about that? Yeah, like copy can be really this really fun, not so scary thing. And so if you have to lean on your personality, if you have to talk it out, like I had a long time ago, I used to do this thing where I just do copy talk. And like, I need you to just talk this out. And I would listen to people talk. I'm like, that you just wrote your about page. I'm like, but what? I'm like, you just wrote it. I just heard it. Okay, about page done.
I mean, but did you record it? That's the real question. Like,
yes, you have to record it. I'm so sorry. record it, get Otter. Now they talk to each other. You don't even have to do anything. Back in the day, you had to download the Zoom. You have to record yourself, transcribe it, go back and read it, copy it. If you see something, ooh, that would be a great headline. Ooh, that's literally what I do. And then I take those pieces and boop, 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 boop. And yes, I bridge it together. I tell a story. I'm not just throwing a bunch of words together. So you want to do that. You want to talk it out if you have no idea. You're going to market research anyway, so do it. If you need to learn on your personality, please do, but you have to deliver. It can't just be like, I'm fun, but I suck. Like, that's not going to work. Someone's going to figure it out. And that was an imposter syndrome for me for a while. I was like, are people just hiring for my personality? I'm like, no, but they're coming back and they're paying me 10 high four figures, not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times. So it can't just be my personality. And transcribe and be willing to try. Like that's the best part about it, is that it is messaging you can keep updating. It doesn't need to last the stand of time. And it's not going to.
Well, so before we transition into the next piece, I do think that that's what's worth highlighting, is that done is better than perfect. And the thing is, your copy should not be static. And so the quicker you get it up, the faster you can get feedback on that copy, and then you can start to tweak it. Because I think a lot of us, I mean, let's be honest, all of us entrepreneurs are scared to put something out there before we think that it's got a gold seal of approval. And the problem with doing that is, guys, as Christina said, you need to check your buttons. You need to make sure that the website that you put out works. Like, that aside, but the moment that you put your photos on there, you put the copy on there, you make it live, you are going to start to get feedback, either from people actually telling you what parts they liked and didn't like, or the fact that you're not getting any traffic at all. And then you've got an SEO problem, not a copy problem. That's a problem for a different day. But you have to put it out there. You have to make it live, because you can't start to tweak and improve it until you actually put it out into the world. So before we move on to the next section, Christina, I do want to say we started this conversation kind of talking about DIY on the sly. And while you and I both know the value of hiring professionals to do almost everything in your business that you can, I do see the value in a lot of things of doing a little bit of DIY first. Like, if you can't afford to get a full copywriter or a website or systems, but you still have to put in the work, what is it that they should do first? Because I know we've talked about the call, and guys, the call is gold. If you have not asked your business bestie to get on a Zoom with you and just ask you questions about your service so that you can tell them all the things that Christina has already offered, you should do this next week. By next week, you should be talking to one of your business besties, or your partner, your spouse, any of those. But make sure you record it, because you are bound to say at least one really, really awesome thing that you can post on social media, put on a headline as your website, like all that good jazz. So in addition to the call, is there anything else that you would recommend that people do in the DIY stage before they're ready to hire a professional?
Read it. Read the copy. Read it out loud.
Yes.
And if you find yourself going, what the f am I saying? Excuse my language. What am I saying? Or what am I trying to say? Right? If you're confused or you stop, that means someone else is going to stop. What am I trying to say? Something that really helps. As much as I love personality and as much as I love tangents and like really storytelling, on top of that, every word has to be doing its job. Think about that. You're paying each word $1,000.
Ooh, that's
right. And you're like, that's a lot. Let me tell you, you're not holding up. You're not doing any lift right now. After each headline, maybe after each sentence is a little bit much, but not, you're getting the hang of it. Ask yourself, I call it the unimpressed auntie. So what? There's a drunk auntie with her martini in her hand, and you're telling her this thing, or she's reading her this thing, and each line she's like, so what? So what? Why do I care? Right? And when I say that, you may have to go 4 or 5 times. You may have to ask yourself, so what, 4 or 5 times? Because we're a little too abstract. We're a little too close to it, and we're going to say things that nobody gives a F about, right? So you're like, so I can have freedom. What does freedom really look and taste like to this person? Does freedom mean, I don't know, scratching their butt on the couch watching Netflix? Or even
Mhm.
more, watching Joe, binging all of Joe with no kids, with no spouse, with a tub of ice cream. I don't care, right? So what? And usually what we really mean when we say so what is so that I can do what? So that I can be
Mhm.
what? So that I can
What do
have
I
what?
get? Yes.
What do I get? And then yeah, the so what test is really helpful. Reading it out loud to make sure you're making sense, and that like certain things you can leave out, or what can we make a little bit more concise or to the point or more powerful, and where can we, as much as possible, um I don't want to say I want to say detail with a grain of salt, because sometimes we can get too detailed and we lose people, but we do want to make it a little bit more, instead of saying, like I said, freedom. What does it really look like to them, right? And as you see people, or you move in circles, maybe you're in a Facebook group, maybe you're in the thing, like pay attention to the people you're in. If you're in these circles now, pay attention to what they really want, what they're really asking. um because 9 out of 10 times those desires and those wants can be transferred here. It's just bridging how your product is going to get them there. Yes.
So we've talked about DIY, and you and I both know that the return on investment that you get from actually hiring a professional is like sky high. So, how do people know that they are ready to invest in copywriting services from a professional? Like, you've got this brand new business, you've done your DIY, now you think you're ready for the next stage, but how do you know?
I think everyone can benefit from having it from the start. However, I know it's not a price point. It also depends on the price point. I think the first thing you really need to know is if you can articulate, because I can't articulate your offer for you if you can't
Yes.
articulate your offer. And there's a lot of people who make a lot of money and still can't articulate their offer on paper. They can do it really well, or maybe their magnetism, or they're really good, like I said, salespeople.
Personality. Hmm.
You're really good salespeople, but marketing and sales are two different things, right? When you're selling someone, you already have the person in front of you. Your market is there. They're sitting right there. When you're marketing, I have to find a stack of people who are the one or two, three people who are going to come to them be sold to, right? So I'm trying to find that market. So I think anyone can benefit from it. I think where you can maybe think about it is, how soon do you need it?
Hmm.
Is there a launch? Is this like a big launch where you can't really trust yourself? And that's
Yes.
okay to admit that. Trust yourself to write a lot of assets. What assets in a launch, or that maybe you love writing email? Okay, for now, then don't give it to an email. What is the stuff that like you find yourself procrastinating on? You're hemming and hawing on. You're like, this makes me want to throw up. I don't want to write it, or I don't want to send it, or I don't want to do anything with it. Another thing, and I think we don't think of a lot, copywriters are really down to, whether or not they have it on their page or not. Let me tell you something. Copywriting, yeah, there's seasons and flows, and sometimes they're making a lot of money, sometimes they're not. If you said, hey, I wrote some stuff, I just would really love for this to be critiqued, and
Hmm.
like some copy edits, some suggestions. How much would that cost me? They tell you they could do that in a day, and it might be $1,000, maybe
Hmm.
less, $500. But it's not a service they offer because it's not lucrative, and it would take away from marketing, and it would take away from actually doing other copy projects. But they'd be down to do it as long as you say, "I'd pay for it." It's not a pick your brain session.
But I
It's a
do
I'd pay
know,
for it.
yes, but I do know a lot of copywriters that actually have that as a service on their website. I know one in particular that calls it a glow up. Like, she
Oh
will review
yes,
your website and give you like full copy, critique, suggestions on like one
yeah.
page, and like, make suggestions on the website as a whole. I mean, I think that's fantastic for someone who feels like they had a good sense of their messaging and they did it, but they just want, like, again, a gold seal of approval from a professional copywriter. I do think that's a fantastic option. I think, and I mean, hey, maybe this is an FAQ that you should address, Christina. I think
Yeah.
that when it comes to paying like high dollar for high ticket, a lot of us feel like, okay, again, I don't have a lot of customers. I haven't had a lot of clients. I can't really articulate well enough my offer to where I don't think I'm going to pay this copywriter and I'm not going to need to modify everything in 3 months, when I
Yeah.
get a better handle on my offer or my services or whatever it is. So
Yeah.
I do think that's a real fear. I think that people fear hiring a professional when you're not quite sure that you've figured it all out, like your business, your
Yeah.
offer, all that kind of stuff for yourself. But like starting with like this baby, like, can you just look at what I've done and give me some critique?
Yeah.
And then I know from experience that if you did that when you are ready for like full-fledged copy, you're more likely to go back to the person that you trusted the first time, as long as they didn't,
Right.
fuck it up or whatever. I do think that you're more likely to go back to that person because you have a relationship. You hired them
Right.
before and it did make improvements on your website. And now you're more confident. That's it, Christina. I do feel like a lot of people are not confident enough in their offer to spend the big money because they're afraid of the things that will change rather quickly early in their business.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think this will speak more to our last thing.
Mhm.
Do you have the systems in place? Like if this copy goes live, do you have the systems in place to fulfill? Like, yes, it's nice to have great copy that converts. Okay. But now, right? Because you may not have, I have a client I just work with. She's like, Christina, I don't have this. I've kind of done this on the fly, but I don't have this offer nailed down. It's actually a testimony on my Instagram. She's like, I literally gave Christina nothing, but we've worked a few times. I know what it's like to work with her. She does a lot of it's parts of product she already has into an offer that I have worked with each of that product suite that I knew exactly what the offer. I was like, girl, we got this. We're gonna create this offer right now on this call. We're gonna nail it down. We're gonna make it make sense, and we're gonna sell it. And then you can sell from a Google Doc. That's what I was gonna say. You can sell from your Google Doc. You can make a website, and I do it all the time. I have done multiple 5-figure K launches for other people with just a Google Doc. It's possible. That's all a website is, really, right? It's like an HTML document that has little images and buttons, and it's great. It's just a big document that's pretty. It's a brochure. So yeah, to that point, you can. There's all these ways to do it. But another way to know is can you deal? What's going to happen when these people come through? Because I'm happy. I'm happy to make your offer sing. And if I really trust and you have proof, right? Because I'm going to ask for some proof. I don't just write copy. Like I need to be able to experience your product somehow. So I would say that. Like, don't be too hung up on I haven't had clients. Most copywriters will go. I'd say, you know what? Then this may not be a weekender, right? I do mine in a weekender. This may not be a weekend. This may actually be a week. That's because I need to experience the product a little bit more in order to write about it. Because you don't have enough social proof for me to just trust that this is a good product. And then what's going to happen? I always ask that. So what happens after I buy the thing?
Yeah. All right, guys. So Christina has led us into the perfect place. We are going to end part 1 here. If you would like to join us for part 2, please pop over to Best Regards, Christina Torres podcast, where you will listen to part 2. That's it for this episode. See you next time.